credibility away from him. It was you can do the research. The research will show you, because the newspapers will say, Dr. York pleads not guilty. Again, Nuwapians say that the war is not over. You know what I'm saying? The newspapers from all put videos out and changed them asking him that question, and the plea bargain had nothing to do with child molestation. It had to do with taxes. And my father was a diplomat of Liberia. So it had to do with taxes, which he knew he would beat, so he pleaded guilty on taxes, not on child molesting. And then if you confusing, if you do the research, you'll find out that the courtroom dealing with his guilty plea was a closed courtroom, so it shouldn't have been recorded. So the person who recorded it actually switched the audios out. Real shit, no bullshit. Switch the audios out and change them asking him that question. And notice, if you watch the video, you'll see he never opened his mouth. All he did was shake his head.
All right, so he's implying that they switched the audios out on the video of him of Malachi York pleading guilty. The government or whoever switched the video, the audio. They switched the audio out to something else, and that's why you don't hear him saying nothing. You just see him moving his head and all that. So he's implying that when his dad pled guilty, that didn't actually happen the way that you hear it and the way that you see it. He's implying that it didn't happen that way, that he stood up for himself and said something else, but he was only allowed to, because they switched the audio, that's all you got to hear.
They switched the audios to defame him and to take his credibility away from him. You can do the research. The research will show you, because the newspapers will say Dr. York pleads not guilty. Again, Nuwapians say that the war is not over. You know what I'm saying? The newspapers from all Putnam County is all there. You know what I'm saying? But to me, at this point, that's neither here and there, because if you're a black person and Dr. York's a black man, then we should support all our leaders. Yeah. Because I look at all our leaders as our messiahs. These are our messiahs, our messengers, because messiah means messenger. Our messengers that are sent here to help.
It's Facebook Live. You can ask a question.
He's on right now?
Nah. No, we're on right now. This is live. Alright. Yo, what up?
Yo, what's up? Yo, TQ. Tariq Noel. I just want to ask you one question. I want to know why people think somebody would actually lie about what they've been through. Like, if you say what happened with the Nuwabian tribe and you're in your 30s, why would someone lie about this for so long? So to people that are against it, it makes no logical sense for someone to actually keep the story for this long. So how do you feel when you go against people that don't believe it?
Yeah, so that's a great, excellent question, because why would I lie? Why would I say that this happened to me if it didn't happen to me? And it brings us right back to this video and why I'm breaking that video down. Because this is a video with Prince York's son, Prince York, Malachi York's son, is coming out saying that his father is innocent, that he didn't molest kids, he didn't do all this stuff, he was railroaded. So then, when he's coming on a platform with people that's conscious and with the movement, and he's saying that his father is innocent, he's starting off in a manipulation way, manipulating the people, because you're starting off lying to the people. So you're not even giving them the truth. Like, you could come out and teach and do all you want to do, like, more power to you. But when you come out, introduce yourself, and you're standing on a lie, it's not gonna work that way. It's not gonna work with the people that's actually down with trying to move and do stuff and move forward in their life. So you have to come correct. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, I'd rather be living my life, moving on my life, but I gotta be adjusting these videos. That's not true, because there's people that look at it. This thing got 55,000 views or something, and there's all these people that think that Prince York is speaking the truth about his dad. You know what I'm saying? And that can't be allowed to happen. So,
and the thing is like, logically, like, you've been hold on a second. You've been talking about this story, and you've been on a lot of interviews, a lot of different podcasts, asked a lot of different questions, and you've had the same answer every single time. And we all know someone who fabricates a story, their story changes. So I don't understand why people can't understand every time you ask Tariq Noel a question, the same question that you've asked him years ago or 2 weeks ago on every podcast interview, it's always the same answer. So does it, as somebody who went through it, does it frustrate you that you always answer everyone's questions and they still don't get it? They still don't believe or understand?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as much as it's frustrating as much as that that's the condition of the people, is that that's what they're trapped up in, to the point where they can't see through they're so blinded they can't see the truth.
Right.
And for like, if I get frustrated, then I can't try to reach them, because I'll just stop. I'm frustrated, I'll stop, you know. I can't take no more. I'm done. I'm frustrated. You know, if I get to that point, I'm done with it. So it's like I can't be allowed to get frustrated, because I already see the condition that you know, people are placed in, you know, through their indoctrination. So, you know, because I'm from there, and I know I can't get caught up in that same. I see where they're coming from, you know. So I can't get caught up in that. But
and as you know, I know Tariq Noel as a friend, as a person, as somebody who went through this, and I could honestly say that, you know, for those who have disbelief in what he went through, like, just take a step back and honestly think. Like, I could honestly say, like, this man can't lie if you taught him how to lie. It's not in his genes, it's not in his blood, it's not in his character at all. So it's a little bit offensive to me, to where people don't understand what this man, this human being, this person went through, and they try to go against what he's saying as his experience of what he went through. So I ask the people to just take a step back and logically rethink every answer he's ever, you know, answered the question of, you know, whatever he was asked. You know, it's always been the same answer. So, you know, I ask the people to sit back and rethink your debates, because it doesn't make logical sense.
yeah, and this is, you know, that's why I'm breaking down this video, man, because you know, it gotta be done, man. Somebody gotta do this, or at least, you know, like, put it in perspective, because people believe in this
free our
stuff.
people, and we can't. If we sit here and we beat up research, the research will show you, because the newspapers will say Dr. York pleads not guilty again. Nuwapians say that the war is not over. You know what I'm saying? The newspapers from all Putnam County is all there. You know what I'm saying? But to me, at this point, that's neither here and there, because if you're a black person and Dr. York's a black man, then we should support all our leaders. Because I look at all our leaders as our messiahs. These are our messiahs, our messengers, because messiah means messenger. Our messengers that are sent here to help us free our people. And we can't, if we sit here and we beat up everyone because 1 or 2 differences, 3 or 4 differences, then we have no leadership. You know what I'm saying? We have to get to one point or another where we drop the egos, we drop the bullshit, and we say, okay, this is the person who has the information. Whether it's Yahweh Ben Yahweh, Dr. York, Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, whatever. And what I noticed from my father's the only teacher who showed respect and homage to all of those teachers.
That's true. Let me ask you, the situation that took place, because a lot of the information.
You know what? I'm gonna keep that one short, and you know, because you know, it's just, that was the introduction. I'll leave it at that. But he actually came back after the first one. I see you, Doc Campbell. Doc Campbell. I don't know what you're saying. You're saying, look, you're 30 years old. Let's let it go. The man is locked up. Okay. And you're telling me to let it go when
Back to the state of consciousness.
when his son is out there saying that he never did these things. So tell him to stop saying that. Don't tell me to let it go that I'm 30 years old and I gotta let go of my past of what I've been through, been abused, been molested as a child. So you're telling me to let it go, but you're not telling him to stop saying that he didn't do these things. I'm only one person. I'm only one person that's speaking out. There's 22 of us that was under the age of 18. 22 of us. There was 50 of us that was just, you know, under 25. Between whatever and 25. So, let it go. I'll let it go. I've been letting it go for all this time. So he came out and said his dad was innocent. And I was watching these channels. So I had to come and say, because I was raised on speaking the truth, sound right, reasoning, and being righteous and all this stuff. That's how I was raised. So now I'm 30, I'm a man. So I'm gonna act like what I am, what I was raised to be, speaking on the truth. If I didn't do it as a teenager, as an adolescent, I'm a damn sure do it as a man. So I'll let it go when the lies stop being told that this guy didn't do these things. So let's go on. This is let's go on and break down this video. But I hear you, Doc Campbell. I hear you, and I want to. I really do. I want to stop.
But guess what? If you use the Sard Netta 60. Peace and Black Power family. You already know what it is. I'm here with my brother Prince York. And Prince York is here to give us some clarity.
Alright, first thing I want to address is I want to go ahead and address the legal information dealing with my father, dealing with the charges on him, the 208 counts of child molestation, racketeering, etc. Let's go into that real quick. Check it out. Now, 208 counts of child molestation and racketeering charges, etc., taxes, da-da-da. These counts, remember, counts, are not factual, they're not backed, and nor were they used in the court of law. There was 13...
Alright, so he said these counts are not factual. First of all, those counts were factual. He said they were not used in the court of law. He may have something there, because those counts were not used in the court of law because his dad pled guilty. He pled guilty to those counts in the state court. When it went to the federal court, he also pled guilty to those counts, but it didn't get accepted by the judge. So then it went to court. So he didn't go to court to answer for the state charges, because he already had pled guilty to that. So what he's saying is somewhat, he just putting it together where he doesn't know. So don't say that those counts are not accurate and it's fictitious and all this shit. Don't. This is the lie. So let's break it down.
Alleged victims, 13 alleged victims, and the 208 was used for. Remember, counts are not factual, they're not backed, and nor were they used in the court of law. There was 13 alleged victims. 13 alleged victims. And the 208 was used for publicity, which you can research for yourself. I mean,
do I look alleged to you? Do I look like an alleged person? Is this alleged? Am I alleged? Like, come on, man. This guy's lying. Like, since when has this been okay? And he's representing, but you're lying? That's not cool. That's not how he is. That's not how he was raised. That's not what we about. That's not what we do. I don't care who you are. You could be a Christian, Buddhist. You got green bean, potato, tomato, ham, lamb. You could be whatever you want. You're not coming on no lie. Come on, man. Speak the truth. Let's go.
If we've got this far to find something other, then we understand that we should be looking for the facts on situations. Now, check it out. You had 13 alleged victims. Out of these 13 alleged victims, 5 was kidnapped off our land and said nothing ever happened to them. They were even on talk shows in Atlanta.
That's a lie. Let's go.
Stating that I never even had a chance to testify. They wouldn't let me testify, but they had my name on the list as a victim. I never even spoke.
Another lie. Let's go.
In court. On top of that, then you have Mr. Damon Pryor. Damon Pryor explains that at the time period he was doing some illegal activity with bank statements, etc. And my brother,
So Damian Pryor was doing illegal activity, and today he's the ambassador of the Nuwapian Nation. Think about that. Damian Pryor was doing illegal activity. He just told you, and then today he go by Dausa York. Dausa York, Damian Pryor. He's the ambassador of the Nuwapian Nation. So let's, that's who he. Okay, all right. Let's see what he says.
Brother Jacob York speaks to him, came to him personally and asked, can you help me get these different stuff so I can get this house in South Beach to take these victims, alleged victims, down to South Beach? What ended up happening with that situation is Damon Pryor denied the claim, and when he found out that Jacob York was bringing a case, but he didn't know what type of case, but he was bringing a case against my father, he sent the message to my father. My father got the message. My father's response was pretty typical as Dr. York. Bring it on. Anything you want to do, bring it on. That's how my father has always been. So, with that, then you have 2 months later him being arrested in Milledgeville, Georgia, in a car.
So all these are lies. Like Jacob York, he has nothing. He had nothing to do with the case. If he had he would have been a part of the case. He wasn't brought up in the case at all. There was a trip to Miami where people went to Miami, people that knew each other growing up. And they wouldn't use that as a catalyst to say that this is when the conspiracy was made. So when you break this down, when you break all this stuff down, that he didn't plead guilty for his wife being locked up and all this stuff, you have to really think and go beyond that. You know what I'm saying? People are saying like, oh, why can't you let it go and all this stuff. But meanwhile, you're lying to the people. Like, what if I was lying to the people and said some other shit? Like, you'll be addressing me. So isn't that, it's only appropriate that if you're lying to the people, I got to address it. So let's go.
He was parked chilling, right? $400,000 cash in his pocket because he knew he'd be arrested any day. And he said, when I do get arrested, if the nation falls, what will happen is when I beat my case and I get out, the money that was taken from me, if you understand law, you understand everything that's taken from you at the time period is given right back to you. You understand? Moving forward in that. Now let's get into court itself. Nothing in court in his entire court case is legitimate. The reason why is because, one, the court date is a federal court and it's held on a federal holiday, which is Martin Luther King Day. On top of that, pay attention, study flag law, and you'll understand.
So if your number one reason, because you said you put it as number one, is that it was a federal holiday and it shouldn't have been, a court shouldn't have been ran on Martin Luther King Day. Like, okay, I can agree with that, but it's not that. I mean, come on. That's not your number one. Let's go.
And watch the videos that you claim that you've seen, and make sure that you know that the flags that is in that court don't have fringes. Those gold ropes on the flag, that goes into. You have to study the flag law. I want y'all to research this because I've read some of the.
So now too, he's saying that the flags don't have fringes on it, and in the court of law, you have to have the fringes for it to be official as a court of law. So that's like saying, oh, your boxer, even though they had the gloves on, like the paint was made by a specific company that we don't endorse. Like, it's just cosmetic. Like, the court case was, whether it landed on a federal holiday or not, like, it may have, people should have been off, but they decided not to be off and they went to court. So let's break it down some more. That's two reasons. Let's go.
Comments from the last post, and it seems that people are speaking from no research. Going further into that, then you have every single alleged victim say, nothing was ever done to me. I was framed. I was done this. The government threatened me. They offered me money. All these different things.
That's a lie. Let's go.
Things coming from Jacob York taking us off the land. Not only that, then you have 200 agents come marching on our land, and they literally kidnapped 40 children off our land and took them into custody. One of the tapes.
So why your number keep changing? Is it 40? Is it 5? Is it 10? Which one is it? And when you say kidnap, you want to put in a scenario in the people's mind that they've been taken away as a kidnap. No, the children that was taken from the land outside of being detained, the ones that was actually taken was implied in being child molestation victims. So they took away the child molestation victims to question them. So it wasn't like they kidnapped them. Like they actually fed them. They actually whatever. I don't agree with it. It is what it is. Like, but they had to get the names of the people that was implicated. Once they found out who they were, they took those people, those child molested victims that they was investigating. So it's not like they kidnapped children for no reason. They took the children that were being molested, that other witnesses had saw and implicated their name. So once their name was involved, they took those children to be questioned. And some of them didn't testify at court, and some of them came out later and told the truth that they actually was molested by Malachi York. So let's go on and break it down some more.
Was released with an FBI agent speaking to a young girl. I believe she was 4 years old. And we asked her, he said, has Dr. Malachi York ever touched you? Her response was yes. They leaned in real close and they said, where? She pointed to the top of her head. And when she explained to them, she said, every morning I go to the gate by Dr. York's house, because my father's house had a gate at least about half a football, about 50-yard gate from his house. And she would come to the gate, and every time my father would come outside, he would pat the little kids on their head and said they would be the next great leaders. This is the kind of baloney that was a part of this case that made this case so illegitimate. And the reason why I'm bringing light to the case, or really dark to the case, because we know light is
there is no size. That's what's your problem.
I was just tired of hearing it.
There's no such thing with size with family. Jacob and Pops, if they have their beef, that's their problem, not mine. I can kick it with Jacob. I can kick it with Pops. Now, when they start trying to fix input, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear you talking about. I don't give a fuck. I'm 31. I'm a grown ass man. I can make my own decision. I don't give a fuck, Pops, if you get mad at me for kicking it with Jacob. I don't, nigga. I do not care. But I don't give a fuck if there is no size. That's what's your problem. Y'all don't figure that part out. There's no such thing with size with family. Jacob and Pops, if they...
It was a conflict of interest. Judge C. Ashley Royal was presiding over the same case in terms of Abby Eli. That was his death. The negligence of the doctor. He knew he was in the Nawapi, and next thing you know, he's the judge over my father's case, and he took the case. So it's like he knew what he was doing. Peace to you, Al. So that's the situation. Again, I don't support it. People have asked me, what do I think of it? I don't support it. Personally, it doesn't make sense. Again, if you feel my father didn't do something and you're running with he is in it.
Yo, what's up? This is Faisal, or also Imhotep Karim Sa'atumre. Teenage boys who were around 17, 16, yeah, they used to force their ways into some of the younger ones. You know what I'm saying? And then convince them using.
I'm at this big internet business conference, and
we'll be right back.
My grandma just turned 99, so I'm leaving the conference here.
Come in this conference in the world.
Alright, people, I'm back. This one is entitled Jacob York. From Brownsville that's teaching. If they're out there teaching that stuff, great. Then continue to teach it. Progress that. I challenge them to that. All those people that have nowhere to stay, put together programs, get someone stay. Don't sit there and talk about, it seems like all they want to talk about is what I'm doing and what this one's doing, what that one's doing, and that don't matter what I do and what I don't do. That's not their concern. Here's my point. What their concern should be is
don't understand why didn't you leave, but we was raised thinking that that was the best place to be. What he would tell us, he used to tell us on the land, the kids who was born or raised in the community, we had a red hexagon on our head, and if we ever left the community, the light was shining throughout the planet, and the devil know to get us, attack us, and we'll never be nothing without him, or we're misfits and ugly, and all this stuff would happen. So we just dealt with.
Well, Sergeant Tracy Bowman played an integral part in the investigation and making sure that this all came to an end. Welcome her to the show. Thank you so much. Bill Osinski wrote the book Ungodly, the true story of unprecedented evil, and I'm telling you, that's exactly. You guys are passing that book around? Please pass it. I want more people to see that, just to be disgusted for a second. Where's it at right now? Raise your hand. You got it? Pass it down the road. Let some people take a look at it. But Sergeant, talk to me. You got involved in the investigation when the authorities had already received enough complaints.
You knew?
Yes.
All right. Now, Bill Osinski is an investigative reporter who wrote a book called Ungodly about Dwight York and the New Wabians. Now, he first wrote about the group when they moved from New York to Georgia. Bill says Dwight York got away with molesting children because he was hiding behind religion. How did you first get onto this? Somebody wrote a letter to the paper, right?
No, well, I came across this strange collection of pyramids and sphinxes right on the side of a blacktop two-lane road in the middle of nowhere, Georgia. And I had, who are these people? So I learned that he had been from New York. I went up there. I learned about his past criminal allegations against him and started writing that story. And then after that story, people who were inside the cult saw it and wrote anonymous letters saying that the children were being molested.
So you noticed some pyramids in the middle of Georgia.
Exactly, yeah.
That's a clue.
Yeah.
Okay, and there were really some strange things. And of course, this didn't look strange to y'all at all at the time, right? Because you grew up around this.
I mean, the thing with the religion changes in a lot of the books, and even a lot of people who still idolize and worship him don't understand, because their main thing is, well, what about the books? What about the doctrine? I was raised up and got to a certain age where I was a part of the publications department. First of all, lots of his information is plagiarized from other people, copied, changed around, and he would have groups of people who had to study the old books and make sure the new books don't conflict, and if it did, make up another story.
Make up another story. And were you shocked?
So, yeah, man, I mean, it goes deep. It goes a while ago. And I'm not just pointing this out just to point it out. People are lying to people. And it should be nothing wrong with that. But, there's something wrong with that. Because you're dealing with people's souls, people's divinity, with people's, direction in life. And you can't really take that lightly.
I don't understand why didn't you leave?
You can't take it lightly. So I think let me see, because I don't want to go too far off of what I'm trying to really say, but it's somebody got to do it. Somebody made a mess and somebody got to clean it. So that's just how it is. And I can't come from somewhere where we spoke up for the truth, and we're not doing nothing to uphold what we're saying.
There's the first
not what we
incident
about.
where